Welcome back. So, a lot has been going on in the realm of one of Earth's minor chaos gods, Todd Howard. So it's time to talk about Fallout, to talk about Bethesda, and even a little bit of Starfield. The number one thing is that currently 65 million people have watched the TV show. At least that's according to Variety. I have as well. Honestly, I think it's really quite fantastic. I'm shocked how good it is, which is nice, like for all of us, that mass market, a video games thing, is doing really well. I don't know. I just think that's kind of neat. However, in the realm of gaming, there are definitely more problems. Just take a look at this headline from PC Gamer. Bethesda beefing it with a calamitous next-gen Fallout 4 update just as everyone's falling in love with Fallout again is the most Bethesda thing imaginable. And it really is. I mean, say what you want about Bethesda, they certainly are consistent. And this is really the perception then that Bethesda, be it bugs or like something grander, that they just struggle to do things right. So what I wanted to do today is to take stock of the entire situation. So let's start off with April 23rd. This is when the official Fallout account on Twitter said that they had 5 million players across all Fallout games and 1 million of them in Fallout 76 alone. That's not bad, right? That's not bad, and that certainly is an example of the TV show just getting Fallout out there. Don't know about you, but I've certainly been seeing a lot of Fallout coverage on YouTube. Lots of Fallout lore videos appearing in my feed. If you're somebody who has done, like, here is the lore of every single Fallout vault, you're probably getting good views right now. So yeah, GG, and I've enjoyed those videos too. So with all of that, it's not a surprise that Bethesda also did a cross-platform franchise sale, right? But the biggest push for all was on April 25th, and it was the launch of something we've talked about on this show before, the next-gen patch for Fallout 4. It really did not go well. It was already a contentious thing in PC, and that's because of Fallout London. Fallout London looks absolutely goddamn astounding, and while I think that Bethesda did an absolutely stand-up job with Fallout 3, especially with the detail and the world building, I think in terms of characters, narrative, well, Obsidian, I do think did a better job with New Vegas. And then Fallout 4 had its fair share of problems. So I think with that, a lot of people were just really excited for Fallout London. Even just going through the lore, the stuff that they had put together absolutely looked terrific. And then they had to basically postpone the launch day because the launch day was heavily clashing with the next-gen update. And the fears were that the next-gen update could totally destroy the mod, essentially make it so that things don't work. And the devs, they asked everybody to be polite to Bethesda, and then I think a little bit later they were talking to the BBC, and well, they said, quote, "For lack of a better term, screwed us over." Just saying, Bethesda, you know, we're doing a thing that is useful to you guys. Could you have given us a bit of a heads up? I think that's kind of the feeling there, especially with the launch date being so important and that being something they would have been building up to with their community. And the reason why an update would essentially break that kind of thing is because all of the really complex mods that are outside of the bounds of what you can do in the official creation kit, they rely on the script extender for Fallout 4, and as of the time of this video, the script extender is not updated. Hang on a sec, because hello, this is actually me from the future. And I actually bring good news. Very rare that me from the future would do that. So the good news is that script extender has actually been updated. This is absolutely fantastic. This, of course, means that for loads and loads of different mods, those developers can now actually start testing and hopefully be on a route to shipping something quickly. So let's hope that this does everything that the Fallout London team would want and that they can go ahead with their project. I think there's nothing that would be better than them being able to launch their project still when there's a lot of Fallout hype from the TV show. So, good news. And back to past me. Now, to be fair to Bethesda, we have known that this has been coming for a while. They announced it in 2022, but, well, it didn't end up, I think, hitting their initial launch target. Even, like, quite close to now, Nexus Mods actually published a guide warning people that this update would break mods and basically told people how they could avoid installing the update. But the thing that was particularly annoying for the devs was just the short amount of time and the lack of forewarning. So the patch came out, and as everybody telling you, yes, it did break loads and loads of mods. Now, this would have been enough on its own, but there were other issues on PC, unfortunately. So, the official ultrawide support did not support all ultrawide options, so some people got lovely stretched UI text. Then the official Steam Deck verification seems to have been achieved by removing the Fallout 4 launcher, which is good, but that actually means there's no way to adjust some graphics settings, which seems kind of weird and insane. And yes, you can probably do all that in an INI file, but I mean, come on, current year, really? Then, PC didn't actually get that many benefits. This update fixed many long-standing bugs that people have complained about. There was a significant issue causing crashes in RTX cards. It's not like there was any, graphical change that was going on to PC. So essentially, there's the good points of the patch that it did fix multiple bugs and a critical settlement corruption bug that even modders hadn't been able to fix. It restored access to official mods for Chinese and Japanese language users. That stuff is good, but generally speaking, not worth the hassle for the PC community. I mean, really, it seems they were doing this for console anyway, and, just to have parity, threw it onto PC. And that's not to say that things were perfect on console either. So Xbox users have been complaining that the quality mode that would target 30 FPS 4K with no dynamic scaling actually doesn't work and stays at 60. Which, I mean, I would always recommend to stay at 60, but there you go. I mean, if the mode's not doing what it's supposed to do, that's really not ideal. Bethesda actually then said that this is intentional, because the game would always try for 60 on a Series X. So I suppose that means if you want the true cinematic vision, then you should probably get an Xbox Series S and go in quality mode. But yeah, for whatever reason, the patch notes just simply didn't say that. So a little bit of a weird thing. Big picture though, no calamitous disasters on Xbox. Over in Sony land, the problems have been a bit different. So people have been frequently seeing problems where games downloaded as a part of the PS Plus collection or via PS Plus Extra, they effectively don't count in their libraries for updates, which is really bizarre. Essentially, those people couldn't update to the next-gen patch, but it was fixed after a couple of days. So for console players, it was sometimes a little bit busted, but basically a far better time. Obviously, though, very much not that over on PC, where the PC users are just suffering for the benefit of consoles. I guess that takes us all back to 2007 and 8. What a happy era of AAA PC gaming that was. And that, of course, brings us to another headline from PC Gamer. Fallout 4's most popular mods are now ones that remove Bethesda's disastrous next-gen update, because if Bethesda introduces a problem, be it intentional or not, a modder will fix it. And if you go to Nexus mods, you can actually see that currently the skip next-gen update and Fallout 4 downgrader, they've got 23.2K and 33.8K downloads respectively. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Now, where I think things get interesting is just narratives, commonly held perceptions, and really what's going on. So in my head anyway, right? Fallout in PC is mostly a New Vegas thing, though that's really the best of the Fallout games, and that you wouldn't really be playing a Bethesda Fallout without installing 60 different mods. So clearly, with the mods being broken and all of these problems, we wouldn't be seeing, some massive player numbers or something like that. And I suppose I'm talking about things in this way because there is that silent majority of players who, overplayed word, but they're not part of the discourse. They're just silently there buying and playing video games. So let's take a look at some numbers then. We obviously have got the tweet from the 23rd of April about 5 million Fallout games, and on Steam, every Fallout game is there, even including Tactics and Shelter. This is where things are fun. On the 21st of April, we had 319,000 people playing Fallout games. Tactics is included in this, but it's not that high. When you take a look at it though, right, what you basically see. Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition, 11,500 people. New Vegas, 43.6 thousand people. Fallout 4, 164,000 people. And Fallout 76, it's coming in at 73,000 people. I mean, for a game that had such a disastrous launch, I think that's really quite impressive. It also had a fairly substantial content update. Should we check out Fallout 76? Please, if you've been playing 76, please do drop a comment. I would love to hear what your experience has been now that it's got years of support, as much as it does. I mean, it was a total lolcow game when it came out. It does kind of seem it's not really like that anymore, even though I do think about the pay for convenience things, and those are very grating to me personally. Anyway, what we can see here is that, yes, PC is really quite big indeed. Now, the problem here is we can't really do the counterfactual that well, because we don't live in a timeline where Fallout 4 had no problems, and of course, Fallout London came out. I can certainly imagine if Fallout London came out, we would be seeing higher numbers for Fallout 4. I think that is absolutely the case, and I do think that would have played in Bethesda's favor, like for fairly obvious reasons. The idea that there is basically a new Fallout game that you can go and play at the same time that the show comes out, I mean, that is the most perfect timing for that they possibly could have had. So I think that is a real missed opportunity. It is also it's an interesting case where a mod team, I think, could actually viably compete on like writing and, on content, right? What I think we can see here is that Fallout is definitely posting very healthy numbers. Yes, Fallout 4 is the largest game. The other Fallouts are also doing fairly well, and it's hard to run the timeline that didn't happen. Overall, though, I think there's definitely a bit of a silent majority thing here going on. I mean, even look at Fallout 76. That is a game that you barely see talked about on YouTube, at least my YouTube. I barely hear anyone talking about 76 ever. Yet, we know that Fallout is a strong prestige brand. Obviously the TV show is doing really well, and we see 76 post pretty healthy, stable numbers and actually be able to spike. Yes, some new people will be playing 76 based on the TV show. I almost more see that, though, as a reactivation of its audience. So I definitely wonder what the longer-term health of 76 is going to be. Ultimately, though, I do think that this is a problem in that we don't get to play Fallout London, and it absolutely impacts the most core of Bethesda's community. But there are certainly plenty of people outside of that community who are still playing these games. Not to let Bethesda off, though, because their patch should have not broken features, right? They could have taken care with their Steam Deck verification to do that far better, right? And we can maybe make some assumptions. Maybe they just didn't have a team on this, right? Maybe they didn't have resources to throw into this problem. Maybe they see it as a nice to have, and that they therefore just didn't really care that much. Maybe Bethesda just think, modding's for power users, the modders will solve it, whatever, it'll be fine within a few weeks or a month. We don't really care. Little bit callous, a little bit taking things for granted. And I do think that Starfield shows that Bethesda can't take things for granted anymore. There's a lot of other games that have came out since Skyrim. Fallout 4 shook people's confidence. 76 shattered it. They cannot take things for granted like they used to, because there is far stronger competition in the market now. So all of those, oh, Bethesda, you and your lovable little problems, actually for a lot of people, that doesn't really fly. So ultimately, they should have taken more care. They should have thought about the headlines that their actions would get them, because none of this should be surprising. I definitely think they could have done this way, way, way better. You could certainly make the argument that this is a larger problem in perception than it is in reality, because Fallout is still posting heavy. It's like strong player numbers, but we do not know what those numbers would have looked like if these problems didn't happen. And we don't know what the numbers would have looked like if Fallout London is something that people would have been playing, because I would have Fallout London installed on my computer, and I probably would be playing it in the evenings if it was out. But it's not out, so I'm not. So therefore, I'm not contributing to those numbers. There have been some other things going on within Bethesda land. As an example, Todd Howard just doing some interviews. Number one, he's constantly having to bat away the question that apparently, hey Todd, do you hate Fallout New Vegas from those bastards at Obsidian? And it seems he doesn't. But I mean, I can understand why that's a juicy and fun question to ask. It just doesn't really seem like it's the thing. He was also asked about the idea of Obsidian doing another Fallout game, a bit like what they did with New Vegas. He basically had to say no comment on that, but I think we all would see that to be a fairly exciting thing, and I think that would be a good use of resources with Obsidian, certainly. And then in Starfield, they did say that the Shattered Space update comes out. think Q3 of this year. It'll be interesting to see if that can do anything for the fundamentals of Starfield, and they do have some other smaller updates from now until then. Apparently one targeting shipbuilding. Probably won't be enough to get me back into that game, but certainly I'll say, like, whenever full creation kit and stuff comes out for Starfield, I could see modders actually doing transformative things there. But anyway, that is it for today's video. Thanks for stopping by. If you want another great story, we just published one on Total War that, I mean, it's interesting. It's a good example of essentially the audience saying, nope, you need to do better, and us getting some content that is genuinely better. It's not a free win. It's not a win forever, but it is a good step. And I think that does mean it's an interesting video. So check that out. Other than that, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time.